The anniversary dinner was supposed to be special. I'd spent 3 hours making lasagna from scratch, my grandmother's recipe, the kind that takes patience, layering the pasta, the ricotta, the meat sauce, the kind you can't rush. My wife, Claire, sat across from me at our small kitchen table. She was scrolling through her phone. Again. Claire, I said, can you put that away just for dinner? She glanced up. Her eyes had this look. Tired. Disappointed. Like she was looking at something that had expired. Sorry, she said, not really meaning it. She set the phone face down on the table. I served the lasagna. Steam rose from the plates. It smelled perfect. Claire took one bite, chewed, swallowed. It's good, she said flatly. That's when her phone buzzed. The screen lit up even though it was face down. I saw the name before she could grab it. Marcus. She snatched the phone. It's work. On our anniversary? Important client. She stood up, walked to the bedroom, closed the door. I sat there, looking at the carefully prepared meal, listening to her muffled voice through the thin walls of our Philadelphia apartment. My name is Daniel Rivera. I'm 32 years old. I teach high school chemistry. I make $54,000 a year. And that night, I realized my wife had stopped loving me the moment she realized I'd never make more. When Claire came back out, she didn't sit down. I need to go, she said. Client emergency. On our anniversary, I repeated. Daniel, don't start. Start what? This. She gestured vaguely at me, at the table, at the life we'd built. Being needy. Being small. Small. That word hung in the air. You're calling me small? I'm calling our situation small, she said, grabbing her coat. I'm calling this apartment small. I'm calling your salary small. I'm calling your dreams small. She left before I could respond. I sat there for a long time. The lasagna got cold, then I cleaned up, washed the dishes, put the leftovers in the fridge, and I made a decision. The next morning, I woke up early. Claire was still asleep, or pretending to be. I opened my laptop and pulled up a file I'd been working on for 3 years. A patent application. See, what Claire didn't know, what she'd never bothered to ask about, was that I'd been developing something in the school's chemistry lab after hours. A water purification system. Not just any system. A portable, affordable device that could remove 99.9% of contaminants from any water source. Using a catalyst I'd synthesized from common materials, the kind of thing that could save lives in disaster zones, in developing countries, in places where clean water was a luxury. I'd submitted the patent application 6 months ago, and last week I'd gotten an email from a venture capital firm in New York. They wanted to meet. I'd been planning to tell Claire over our anniversary dinner. But after last night, I decided to keep it to myself. The next few weeks were strange. Claire became more distant, more busy. More nights where she had client emergencies. I stopped asking questions. Instead, I focused on my work, on my students, on the meetings with the VC firm that I was taking via video call during my lunch breaks. They were interested, very interested. The lead investor, a woman named Dr. Sarah Chen, had worked in humanitarian tech for 20 years. Daniel, she said during our third meeting, what you've created here could provide clean water to millions of people. Do you understand that? I do. We want to license this. We want to put it into production immediately, and we want you to be part of the rollout. What does that mean financially? She named a number. I had to ask her to repeat it. 7 figures. Up front, plus royalties on every unit sold, plus a consulting position with their foundation, plus equity in the company they were forming around my technology. We're talking about changing your life, Daniel, Dr. Chen said. Is that something you're ready for? I thought about Claire, about the word small. Yes, I said, I'm ready. I didn't tell Claire about the deal right away. I wanted to see how far this would go, how far she would go. 2 weeks later, I found out. I came home early from school. I had a dentist appointment that got canceled. When I opened the door to our apartment, I heard voices. Claire's voice, and a man's voice, coming from our bedroom. I stood there for a moment, my hand still on the doorknob. I could have walked in, confronted them, made a scene. Instead, I quietly stepped back out into the hallway, pulled out my phone, and called my lawyer, the same lawyer who'd been handling my patent paperwork. Michael, I said, I need you to draft divorce papers. Can you have them ready by tomorrow? That fast? That fast. The next day, Claire came home to find me sitting at the kitchen table with 12 boxes stacked by the door. What is this? She asked. Your stuff, I said. I packed it. Her face went white. Daniel, what are you? I came home yesterday. I heard you. With him. She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. It's not. Don't, I said. Don't insult both of us with a lie. She sat down. Daniel, I can explain. I don't want an explanation. I want a divorce. You can't be serious. I've never been more serious in my life. She laughed, actually laughed. You're going to divorce me? With what money? You can't even afford this apartment on your teacher's salary. The apartment is in my name, I said calmly. My name only. You'll have 30 days to find a new place. You're bluffing. I slid an envelope across the table. Divorce papers, already filed. You'll be served officially tomorrow, but I wanted to give you a heads up. She opened the envelope. Read the first page. Her hands started shaking. Daniel, wait, let's talk about this. Marcus, he's nothing. He's just... Marcus is a financial analyst who makes $300,000 a year, I said. I looked him up. He's exactly what you've been wanting. Someone who isn't small. That's not fair. Life isn't fair, Claire. You taught me that. She stood up. Fine. File for divorce, but you'll have to pay me alimony. I haven't worked in 2 years because you wanted me to go back to school. I supported you going back to school, I corrected. You chose not to finish your MBA. That's not my fault. I gave up my career for you. You were a receptionist at a dental office. You didn't have a career. The words were harsh, but they were true. And watching her face crumple, I realized I didn't feel guilty. I felt free. Claire moved out 3 days later. Marcus helped her. I made sure to be at school when they came to get her things. I didn't want to see him. Didn't want to give her the satisfaction of thinking I cared. The apartment felt different without her stuff everywhere. Cleaner, simpler, mine. I repainted the bedroom, changed the locks, bought new sheets, and I waited for the deal to close. 6 weeks later, I was sitting in Dr. Chen's office in Manhattan. The contract was in front of me. 52 pages of legal language. This is it, Dr. Chen said. Sign here, and you're officially a millionaire. I picked up the pen, thought about Claire, about the word small, and I signed my name. The money hit my account 3 days later, $1.2 million, up front. I stared at the number on my phone, refreshed the screen to make sure it was real. It was real. I didn't go crazy with the money, didn't buy a sports car or a mansion. I upgraded my apartment, moved to a better neighborhood, got a place with 2 bedrooms, one for an office where I could continue my research. I bought my mom a new car. She'd been driving the same Honda for 15 years. I set up a scholarship fund at my school for students interested in STEM fields. And I kept teaching because I love teaching. The money didn't change that. 3 months after the divorce was finalized, I got an invitation. The Philadelphia Science Foundation was hosting their annual gala. They wanted to honor me with their Humanitarian Innovation Award for my water purification system. The gala was black tie at the Ritz-Carlton, the kind of event Claire used to dream about attending. I almost didn't go. Then I thought, why not? I bought a tux, a real one, not a rental, and I went. The ballroom was stunning. Crystal chandeliers, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, tables set with fine china and fresh flowers. I felt out of place at first, like I was wearing someone else's life. But then Dr. Chen found me. Daniel, you made it. She was wearing a silver gown, diamond earrings. She looked like she belonged here. I almost didn't, I admitted. Well, I'm glad you did. Come on, I want you to meet some people. She introduced me to scientists, entrepreneurs, philanthropists, people who were genuinely interested in what I'd created. Not because of the money, because of the impact. Your device is already being deployed in Haiti, one man told me. The relief teams say it's a game changer. We're looking at contracts with the UN, a woman added. This could become standard equipment for disaster response worldwide. I listened, answered questions, talked about the science, and for the first time in months, I felt like I mattered. Not because of money, because of what I'd built. Then I saw her. Claire. She was standing near the bar, wearing a red dress I'd never seen before, and she was with Marcus. He was exactly what I'd pictured. Tall, sharp suit, that corporate confidence that comes from never having to worry about money. They saw me at the same moment I saw them. Claire's face went pale. Marcus looked confused. Clearly didn't know who I was. Dr. Chen noticed my expression. You okay? Yeah, I said. Just saw someone I used to know. Want me to have security remove them? No. Let them stay. I wanted them to see this. 6 months later, I ran into Claire at a grocery store. She was alone, no Marcus. She looked different, tired. Her hair was pulled back. She was wearing sweatpants. She saw me before I could avoid her. Daniel? Claire? Good, good. You? I've been better. Awkward silence. Marcus and I broke up, she said. I'm sorry to hear that. Are you? Not really, no. She laughed. Bitter. Fair. What happened? Turns out he was just like you said, ordinary. He made good money, but he was. She trailed off. He wasn't you. That was the point, wasn't it? I was stupid. Yeah, you were. She flinched, but she didn't argue. I saw the article in the Times, she said, about your company, about the UN contracts. 15 million in funding. That's incredible, Daniel. It's not about the money. I know. I know that now. Too late. I know that too. We stood there, two strangers who used to be married. Are you seeing anyone? She asked. That's none of your business. Right. Sorry. I grabbed my cart, started to leave. Daniel, wait, I stopped. Didn't turn around. I just want you to know I'm proud of you for what you've accomplished, for who you've become. Thanks, and I'm sorry for everything. Okay. Is there any chance we could? No. The word was final. I kept walking. I was seeing someone, actually. Her name was Jessica. She taught English at my school. We'd been friends for years. Started dating a few months after my divorce. She didn't care about the money, didn't care about the awards or the articles. She cared about the kids we taught, about making a difference. She cared about me. Not the version of me that had money, not the version that won awards, just me. The chemistry teacher who still wore the same sneakers he'd had for 5 years, who still ate cafeteria lunch with the students, who still believed that teaching was the most important job in the world. A year after the gala, my company secured a contract with the World Health Organization. We were going to deploy our water purification systems in 50 countries, potentially providing clean water to 10 million people over the next 5 years. The press conference was held in Geneva. I flew first class, stayed in a 5-star hotel. But when I gave my speech, I talked about the high school chemistry lab where it all started, about the students who helped me test early prototypes, about the importance of curiosity, of persistence, of not letting anyone tell you you're too small to matter. The video went viral, got 20 million views in 3 days. I became briefly famous, which was uncomfortable, but it also meant more funding, more partnerships, more opportunities to help people. So I endured it. Claire saw the video. I know because she texted me from a new number. I saw your speech. It was beautiful. You were always meant for great things. I'm sorry I couldn't see it. I didn't respond. What was there to say? She'd made her choice, decided I wasn't enough. And in her absence, I'd become more than either of us imagined. Not because of money, not because of fame, because I'd stayed true to the work, because I'd believed in something bigger than myself, because I'd refused to be small. 2 years after the divorce, Jessica and I got engaged. We had a small ceremony, just family and close friends. No fancy venue, no orchestra, no champagne towers, just people who loved us, who supported us, who actually cared. It was perfect. On our wedding day, I got a text from an unknown number. Congratulations, you deserve happiness. I showed it to Jessica. You gonna respond? No, I said. That chapter's closed. She kissed me. Good. 5 years after Claire left, my company was valued at $200 million. Our devices were in 80 countries. We'd provided clean water to over 30 million people, saved an estimated 50,000 lives from waterborne diseases. I'd won more awards, given more speeches. But the best part, I was still teaching. 3 days a week, I taught chemistry at my old high school, because that's where it all started. And that's where it all made sense. One afternoon, a student stayed after class. Mr. Rivera? Yeah, Marcus? Different Marcus, 15 years old, brilliant kid. I have this idea for a project, but I don't know if it's any good. Tell me about it, he explained. Something about solar panels and water heating. Technical, complex. That's a great idea, I said. Really? My dad says it's a waste of time, says I should focus on getting a job that makes money. I thought about Claire, about the word small. Your dad's wrong. I said, money is fine, but impact matters more. If this idea could help people, it's worth pursuing. His face lit up. So you think I should keep working on it? Absolutely. And if you need help, I'm here. He left smiling, and I thought, This is why I teach. Not for the money, not for the recognition, but for moments like this, where you can show a kid that their ideas matter, that they matter, that they're exactly the right size to change the world. Claire reached out one more time. 5 years after everything ended, she sent a letter to the school. Dear Daniel, I know you probably won't read this, but I needed to try. I've spent 5 years thinking about what I did, about what I threw away. You were never small. I was. My vision was small. My priorities were small. My understanding of what mattered was small. You tried to tell me, with your lasagna, with your passion for teaching, with your late nights in the lab, but I couldn't see it. I could only see dollar signs and status symbols and all the superficial bullshit that doesn't actually matter. Marcus lasted 3 months. After him, there were others. All the same, all disappointing, because none of them were you. I'm not asking you to take me back. I know that ship has sailed. I just wanted you to know I'm sorry, and I'm proud of you. You changed the world, and I'll spend the rest of my life regretting that I wasn't there to see it. Claire, I read the letter twice, then I filed it away. Not out of anger, out of closure. She was part of my past, a chapter that taught me important lessons about worth and value and what really matters. But she wasn't part of my future. That night, I came home to Jessica, to our house, our life, our future. She was grading papers at the kitchen table. How was school, she asked. Good. Had a great conversation with a student about a project he's working on. That's wonderful. I kissed the top of her head. I'll start dinner. Need help? Nah. I got it. I made lasagna, my grandmother's recipe, the kind that takes patience. And as I layered the pasta, the ricotta, the meat sauce, I thought about how far I'd come. From a cramped apartment where my wife called me small, to a home filled with love and respect and genuine partnership. The money was nice, the awards were validating. But this quiet evening with someone who loved me for exactly who I was, this was everything.